I'm Mike Bibby.
I'm Ty Ellis.
I'm Eddie House, host of the Straight Game Podcast.
Each week we're bringing you real,
raw conversations about sports,
life, and family.
We already linked with Fat Joe, Baron Davis, Jamal Crawford.
Man, we just getting started.
Tap into Straight Game wherever you get your podcasts.
You can also watch all episodes on YouTube. Welcome to another episode of Straight Game Pod. I got my boy Eddie House, Ty Ellis here. We got a known assassin out here that used to, my light-skinned counterpart used to give a lot of people problems in the NBA back in the day. And Deron Williams, we got Deron Williams. Thanks for joining us, Deron.
Yeah, man. Glad to be on.
I got one question for you, man. What have you been up to? I see you have volleyball all the time, all these volleyball terms. Besides that, what have you been up to since you've been done playing?
Yeah, man. I mean, volleyball's about done for me. My daughter, it's her last year. She's not playing in college, so.
Oh, man.
Thank God I'm done with that. That's like a job. That's like a job, man.
They don't understand that, D. They understand you're there for 12 hours a day.
I didn't understand how cutthroat volleyball is too. It's just like playing the little games you got to play to get girls on teams and stuff.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. The politics, and that is just like everything else you see. The college basketball, NBA, it's the same thing, man.
Yeah. But no, I've been, I'm splitting time between Dallas and Salt Lake City still, and I design and build houses here in Dallas, and so that's what kind of, I'm doing now with my time.
Okay.
Where did that come from? You go from basketball to being an architect or a developer. That's always been in you?
It's something I've been doing for a while now. Started when I was still playing, but just, moving as much as I did and just always going to look at places in every city, and I would walk through some houses and just a lot of the floor plans was weird and just wasted space and just design was ugly, and I'm just like, what are people doing? So I was like, that'd be fun to do. So slowly but surely, I just started kind of doing my own projects for me. And now I just do them, I just spec them out to sell them. And so just something kind of I just developed an eye for, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? Part of our podcast, what my part is highlighting those type of things right there, that where after basketball, you still have some success doing something that you love to do, where it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's forced, and you able to still monetize off of it. You loving what you're doing. You able to parlay what you did in the NBA and turn it into a successful business. We got to commend you and salute you on that, because that's exactly what I would like this podcast to also highlight as well. But let me ask you a question, man, about growing up in Dallas. And Ty is from Oak Cliff, and he said it's a healthy basketball culture out there. When you were coming up, who was somebody that you looked up to that was from Dallas or not from Dallas that you was kind of like, I got to pick and I want to take some of this and incorporate into my game?
Man, he's sitting right there.
Your light-skinned counterpart?
Yeah, man, I grew up. So, I mean, there were some Dallas cats that I grew up watching. But as far as point guards, we didn't have anybody at the time that was,
right,
really at the top of the game. And so, the guys that I watched were definitely from other areas. And I grew up wanting to go to North Carolina or Arizona. We
could have used you at Arizona. They didn't recruit you?
No, what you mean you could have used me? Listen, you could have used. No, y'all didn't need no more killers over there, man. I'm telling you.
What you mean? Why not?
Nah, man, I had to deal with y'all.
Jason
Terry, Mike Dick.
I'm younger than him.
I know, but I just didn't want to.
High school.
90. We graduated in 96.
Yeah, I'm 02.
See, but we still could have. I mean, we would have been tough then too.
Yeah, but I'm just
So
saying
we beat y'all to go to the Final Four.
That's
remember?
what I'm saying. But we could have used you, is what I'm saying.
That's
why we
what
could have
you're
used
saying.
you.
D. Will say, remember?
And I can't believe they didn't recruit you, man. Like, I mean, I don't know the numbers and stuff coming out of high school at the time, but seeing you at that level, and tell me this: why Illinois?
I was getting recruited by, a lot of people, but like I said, the schools that I kind of grew up wanting to go to, I wasn't getting recruited by them. And so early on, like Bill Self was recruiting me heavily when he was at Tulsa. Obviously, I wasn't really trying to go to Tulsa. I kind of wanted to get away from Texas. And, a lot of the Texas schools had some point guards like TJ Ford. It was, in front of me. And so I wanted to go somewhere where I could play as a freshman. And once Bill Self went to Kansas. He went to Illinois. They continued to recruit me hard, and him and Coach Gillespie, Billy Gillespie, and D Brown even jumped in the mix because I was a little hesitant at first because I'm like, why do I want to go play with another, point guard who's, McDonald's All-American, but D recruited me. He's like, I'm gonna play the two. I'm more of a scorer, so just somewhere that kind of fell in love with, and I had some circumstances around 9/11 that kind of changed things for me too, because I was supposed to go on 2 visits, one to Georgia Tech and one to Tennessee right before 9/11 happened. And then obviously when 9/11 happened, we couldn't travel for a while. So then I was about to go, I think a week before I was going to Tennessee, they got a commitment from CJ Watson. And then the day I was supposed to go to Georgia Tech, I think they pressured Jared Jack into committing, saying that if I came, I was gonna commit. So it just kind of
everything happens for the right reason.
Happens for a reason. Yeah.
So tell me this, D. Will, not a lot of people even played in the college national championship. Yeah. Tell me about how that was for you. I won a national championship when I was a freshman, and just going back, I mean, you look at a lot of people can't say that. I think that's harder than the NBA finals and anything that you could ever do because it's a one and done thing. So tell me your experience in that.
Well, we lost, so that wasn't the best experience. But that whole year was kind of a whirlwind. We started off the season 21-0, 22-0, I think, and we lost our last game of the regular season to Ohio State, and then didn't lose again, obviously, until the championship game. And so, yeah, I mean, it was just an incredible experience. As that going and playing in that type of atmosphere and on that big stage at that age in your life, is definitely something I'll remember for the rest of my life for sure. Would have liked to be on the other end of it though, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
What's so crazy about it? D. Will played with Bracer Wright, and Bracer Wright had a pretty good career as well. But everybody talked about Bracer because Bracer put up the numbers, but D. Will was so solid. I think like 17, 18 points a game. Is that accurate in high school, D?
Well, something like that, like 9 assists.
Yeah. And he was, but to see, with me being from Dallas and hearing the Bracy and D. Will, all the hype, everybody thought Bracy was going to be the guy. And not saying Bracy didn't have a good career because he did what he was supposed to do, but to see what you have grown into, like that was super dope. And I think it's a huge testament to see how it's not all about scoring. Like you were a full-fledged general on the court. What's your mindset now when you point guards, young point guards that are more focused on scoring as opposed to leading, making the assists, and getting guys better?
I mean, it's just the game has changed. I feel like it's shifted from that now. It's like everybody's got to be a scorer. Everybody's got to be a threat. The way the game's played now. So you're not going to see the consummate point guard like you did in the 90s and in the early 2000s. I think it's just kind of shifted. And maybe it'll eventually go back. And there's still guys that, get guys involved and do a good job of scoring as well. But yeah, it's not as much as it was when we were coming up.
Right.
Being in Utah, being in the offense where you shined, where I don't even think it was really meant for the point guard to shine in that type of offense. They had Stockton, they had Malone. It's for the other guys to shine. So I'll tell you about give us your time in Utah. How was that? Then Eric, you asked him about the question about Brooklyn.
And how Jerry Sloan, how was it playing for Jerry too?
Yeah, so kind of give us that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when I got there was always the Stockton Malone comparisons, or Stockton for me and Malone for Booz. And as we developed, those comparisons became, even more. But yeah, I mean, when I look back on my career, my best years obviously were in Utah. I talk about it's kind of like it's when I was just playing basketball. I was just hooping. I didn't know no better. I didn't know about the politics. I didn't know about, all the other stuff that went into it. And I was just having fun. And so, yeah, I mean, Jerry, the way he prepared us, every day at practice, night in and night out, we were pretty much, we were practicing like we were in training camp still into February, still running lines, still, we were in shape. He was big on, being in shape. And, I feel like that helped us, especially at home. Guys coming in, hitting that altitude, and we hit the ground running. Guys are sucking wind trying to keep up with us. And so, yeah, I mean, my time there was amazing. I played with a lot of great guys and a lot of great memories there.
Do you think that type of coaching will work right now?
No. Not a chance. Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Hey, look, so the reason why it won't work is not because of his coaching style. It's more so the kids ain't receptive to that coaching style, correct?
They're not. And I mean, a little bit I wasn't. That was part of my problem was, I had never played for a coach like that, where it was just, coming from college, it's all business, but it's not, right? The coaches they talk to you, they want you to be you. They want you to, there's they had a different way of being a leader. And so then I got to Utah, and Coach Sloan, he likes it his way. And I ended up fighting that a little bit. And, I think we bumped heads a lot because of that. And so, yeah. But definitely nowadays, no, because I like to work hard. The working hard was not a problem for me. That wasn't the issue. I think it was the other stuff.
So Pat Riley, I played for Pat Riley for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And so they sound like they cut from the same cloth the way they get down, ruling with an iron fist, but also giving grace if you working hard, right? They show you some love. I always say that Pat is the best coach and the best thing that ever happened to me coming in as a rookie and playing 3 years. I don't know if I play 11 years without having the tutelage and the guidance that he gave me. He cared. You could genuinely see that he cared. He called you in your office. Would you say that Jerry was your best coach that you had in the league?
Yeah, for sure.
Bet.
For sure. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. When I look back, I'm 40 now, but I started realizing this pretty much, my last couple of years, and when I was, after I played, just looking back on how I took that for granted, right? You always think the grass is greener on the other side when it's really not. It's not. And I feel like a lot of players, get a chance to feel that. They want out of a certain situation because it's not perfect, but there's not many situations that are perfect.
Yeah. So transitioning from the last couple years of your career, you did play with Brooklyn. Was Jay Kidd was your coach at the time? Or who was the coach there?
I played for 4 coaches in 3.5 years.
Wow.
So that shows you how good that was.
Right.
3.5 coaches.
That's kind of where my career started kind of taking its toll. I was dealing with some injuries, some ankle injuries, kind of nagging stuff. Had wrist surgery after when I got traded there that first year. But yeah, it was a tough situation, right? Because I went from winning 50 games a year to the next season I won I don't even remember. Maybe 25, maybe 25.
Damn,
I've been there.
First time I've ever had a losing career in any level.
That shit hurts, don't it?
Losing record. And
that shit take a lot out you though, D. Don't it? It takes a lot out you.
It does, man. But things got better. But at the same time, it's just very, very tough, especially as a point guard, right? The thing I think that I had with Utah was consistency, right? We kept our core for most of the years I was there. Obviously, we had the same coach. We did things the same way. And then when I got to New Jersey, at the time it was New Jersey Nets, and then Brooklyn after 2 years, it was just not a lot of consistency, man. The rosters were changing every year. Obviously coaches changing every year, so you're learning a new system with new players. And it was just hard to get into a rhythm, especially once I started getting injured, started having those, dealing with those injuries, and kind of took a toll on me mentally, and also my personal life wasn't in the best place during those times either. So that took a toll on me as well.
For sure. D. Wood, it's Ty, man. So I had a European career. I played in all over Europe, Spain, Italy, and Turkey, and I actually played for the same team you played for, Besiktas in Istanbul. And so how was your experience in Turkey, and also just the total game? Because I'm always arguing with these two guys how good the European guys are. They kind of like give me the old school Martin and hand to the face all the time. So they ain't really trying to hear it, but I'm telling them how skilled these guys are. Agree, disagree? How you felt?
So give it to him, D. Will. Give him the same.
Yeah.
No, be real.
Tear his ass up, please.
So here's what I'm going to say to that. So first of all, my time in Turkey was amazing. I loved it. I loved Istanbul. I loved the Turkish people. I loved the food over there, everything. I'm a guy who, the reason I went over there is because I didn't want to sit, at home and not play basketball. They were telling us to prepare for a year-long lockout. So I'm like, well, shit, I'm gonna go over, get paid somewhere and play some basketball, experience. I like to experience new things and different cultures and things like that. So I, kind of jumped in and had a great time over there. I honestly didn't want to come back.
Okay.
Because we were winning over there. I was going back to a team that won, 20 games the year before. And so, I could have stayed there that whole year for sure. Now, as far as the players over there, yeah, I mean, there's some dudes over there that can go, and definitely guys that could play on the NBA roster. But there's also some guys that they wouldn't play on our college team playing.
No doubt.
Thank you.
I mean, yes, the level's good, but it's also
there is levels. I get it.
It's nowhere near.
No sugarcoat
D. Will.
Let him know.
D. Will, listen what he
about
said.
This shit every day, D. Will. Tell him.
He tried to tell me that the USA wasn't finna win gold. He said it was going to be a problem for them to win gold. And
they did almost. I mean, they had some tough games.
Thank you, bro.
They had some
and
tough games.
that's a different thing, right? We're talking about these, teams in these other countries. They're not stacked like the national teams are. The national teams is stacked.
Thank you.
And these guys have been playing together since they were little. They know each other. And I'm not saying.
Who won gold?
Say it.
Who won gold?
Well, first of all, I wasn't surprised USA won gold. I wouldn't have been surprised if it would have lost. That was my statement.
But you also y'all got to realize it's always the guys that have the long overseas careers that try to pump up overseas. So they make it seem like, well, that's why I was over here.
Say D. One of my boys is Roger Powell, your former teammate.
Yeah.
Roger has the same sentiment. And so I guess that proves your point. But anyway, man.
And Roger ain't never make a roster, so there's a reason.
Right.
If you're good, I feel like if you're good enough for the most part, you're gonna make a roster.
Facts.
Well, I would say this. I think one of the best point guards in Europe is Mike James. And y'all can't tell me.
You talking about? But he made a roster. He was with Phoenix out here.
Yeah,
but
made
Mike should be in the league for real.
So he's got ultimate. I feel the same way, and I don't know him personally. I actually follow him on Instagram because I'm a fan of his game.
Yeah, he can hoop.
But I've heard what I've heard through the grapevine, and it's just this could be. I don't know if it's truth or not, and I usually like to speak on that. But I've heard, it's not his game; it's more his attitude. Like when he's on these teams, he feels like he should be playing, over other guys, and that gets to him.
Well,
when you see him play,
you be like, damn, he might should, huh?
He should be. Because I'm out, man, he be killing over there.
He a bucket getter.
Bro,
and even when he made the rosters over here, I felt like when he made Brooklyn one year, I think he made Phoenix, and I thought he was balling for sure.
I'm telling y'all, I coached him. I was on the Phoenix coaching staff that year he was in Phoenix. There's no way he shouldn't have got more shine in front of Eric Bledsoe. There's no way.
No, that's the money. The owner gonna play the money. But that year, the Suns was doo-doo,
We
though.
sucked, exactly.
I'm talking about maybe won 18 games,
Exactly. So
something
you
like
telling
that,
me
because I was
Mike
covering him
James-
at the time.
Yeah.
But Mike James was killing. He was
for
killing.
sure.
Look, D. Will, I'm gonna go into something else right now. Okay,
Yep.
there's talks about football athletes, NBA athletes, right? You got us up 1-0. Right?
Yeah.
You whipped the shit out of him. You whipped the shit out of him, D. I was like, damn, D. Will, stop. D. Will, stop doing that, D. Will. The way you was bullying him, talk that after because they think they're better athletes than us. And I mean, we got one game to show it, and it's you against Frank Gore. That's all we had to, like anything, we're better here. Put this film in, watch this ass whipping right here. Like you, I don't know if you guys had a relationship or anything before this, but you look like he did something to some of your family. Tell me the story about that.
No, I mean, I had never met him until the first time I met him was when we had our press conference in New York, like, 5.5 weeks, I think, 5 weeks or so before the fight. And we was cool. We chopped it up there. He knew Booz well from being in Miami, being from Miami and stuff, and Booz live in Miami. So, yeah, no, Frank's cool. Frank's a good dude.
No. What made you so mad at him?
What you mean it's a fight?
No.
I don't like to lose. I'm
You
competitive.
didn't want to get your ass whooped, huh? That's what it was.
D. Will, you was throwing
Yeah.
it. You was hitting him with elbows. He was out.
No,
He was out the ring.
elbow.
D. Will, he was out the ring, and you was still trying to get him out the ring.
He couldn't turn it off.
So it's funny because everybody was complaining about me pushing him, right?
Yeah.
First of all, if you watch any boxing, they hold, grab, push all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Frank was just so tired that when I pushed him, he had nothing to hold him up, so he went flying out the ring. That's not my fault. So it looked worse than it was. But also that was kind of my game. That was my game plan because we knew, he was going to try to want to,
Bully you?
come in.
Yeah.
Not because I had the height and the reach advantage. And so like when he was trying to grab me. And so I was trying to like stop him from grabbing me. So I was trying to push him off every time. And so
I appreciate you having us up 1-0, man. You beat the shit out of him. I appreciate
Hey,
you.
How'd you get into boxing? Like, how did that all happen?
So I've never been in a boxing ring until 2 weeks before the fight. So that was my first time ever being in a boxing ring. I own an MMA gym here in Dallas. My first sport was wrestling. I wrestled from the time I was 4, up until 8th grade. I had to stop. Till 9th grade. I had to stop in 9th grade because it's the same season as basketball. So I've always loved combat sports. I've always been a fan of MMA, UFC. I own a gym. I train. I train stand-up. I train jiu-jitsu. And so the Jake Paul's promoter, because I was on the Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley card. His promoter used to be the CFO of the UFC. And I knew him from there because I used to go to a lot of fights. And so I guess Frank was, he had been looking for an opponent. I guess they were having trouble finding an opponent. I had just done the All the Smoke podcast a couple weeks before this, and it was the Showtime, their Showtime. And so I guess they asked me about, we started talking about, fighting or whatever. And it was right after Ocho Cinco did that fight. And I was like, man, that looked fun. Like, I would love to do that. So here it goes. 2 weeks later, I get a call. Hey, Frank Gore's looking for a fight. And I hadn't trained anything since before COVID. Right. So it'd been like 2 years since I trained at all. And I was 245. The fight was going to be at 215. And I took it 6 weeks out. So short notice. I was like, yeah, no, I'll do it. Why not? And so luckily I hadn't eaten that day. So I went home, weighed myself. I was 240. I didn't eat the rest of the day. And from that day on, I didn't eat nothing bad. I got down to, I think I weighed in at 211 fight night and ended up fighting. So
You lost all that weight in what? 5 weeks? 6 weeks?
6 weeks, yeah.
God.
We were sitting back here like, shit, D. Will was a boxer. You got caught up with the wrong NBA player. We didn't know that you never boxed before. Shit.
Never boxed before, put tips on it.
No,
like
I mean,
that.
but I do a lot of stand up. I do a lot of stand up. I just never MMA striking is different than boxing. The stance, everything. So yeah, I had to switch up a little bit, but also like I wasn't worried because I knew I could fight, and the guys that I'm sparring at my gym are top 10, 205-pound guys in the UFC. So if I can spar them, I don't think
Yeah.
I can't see Frank Gore being better than any of them.
You made us proud out there, man.
Yeah,
We
great
was out there
job.
smiling.
Great job with
man.
that. Great job
Good
with
shit.
that. So since you into the MMA, like who you think right now is the best in the UFC or MMA, whether it be Bellator, whatever the faction is? Okay, you said no, but whatever the faction is, I know UFC got the guys though. But who do you think is the best right now in the UFC, and who's a guy that you say, watch, he's about to be the next guy before and nobody knows about?
I mean, John Jones is to me the best. Mm-hmm. He's the best all time, and he's the best. I would like to see him fight Tom Aspinall though, because people know him, but I do think he's next, like for sure. I think Tom Aspinall might be the only person I could see beating John Jones. And so I would say he's up next for sure.
All right. D. Will, real quick, man, going back home to play for the Mavs.
Yeah.
Like how special was that for you? How was your experience?
No, honestly, that was a great time for me because like I said, Brooklyn was tough. The whole situation in Brooklyn was tough. The ownership, they didn't really know what they were doing at the time. And like I said, we just had coaches and in and out and players in and out. And so I was dealing with injuries and I kind of like was starting to lose my love for the game. Right. And I just needed a fresh start. And so, going there was a breath of fresh air. Coming home, being able to play in front of, friends and family and being back at home in Dallas. And then, man, it's a great organization. Dallas is a great organization, top to bottom. Starting with Cubes up at the top. Rick Carlisle was a great coach. The assistant coaches there were great, and then all the players playing with Dirty. Yeah. There's not a better superstar in the league, man. As far as just being chill and nonchalant, and it was a great experience for me.
Okay, D-Will, talk to me about your part of the Redeem team in 2008. Yeah. You guys redeemed ourselves, redeemed USA. Talk a little bit about that, being on that team. What was it like being with all those Hall of Famers on one team?
And dogging out the international competition.
Peanut head.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, that was like, that was some of the best times I've had, as an athlete, as a professional, just being on that team. I was one of the young bucks coming in. I think I was 24 when I got there. And, playing with guys, I got a chance to play with Jay Kidd, who, obviously was my childhood idol. I grew up, watching him and idolizing him being here in Dallas, and got a chance to play with him and like you said, play with just shit. I don't know how many guys on that team are, top 75 all time.
It's probably like all of them damn near, right?
Yeah, probably all of them.
Not all of them, but it's a lot,
Close.
Melo, Braun, D-Wade, CP,
Jay Kidd,
Kobe, Kobe. So Dwight Howard should be, honestly.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I mean, you've heard stories and obviously seen the documentary, but like, honestly, those practices were some of the best practices I've ever been a part of. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't get more competitive than that. It doesn't get any, there's not a higher level of basketball you can get to. That is the highest level of basketball that you'll ever see. Same thing with the Dream Team, right? Like, it just doesn't get any better. Like, yeah, you have another team like that, but it doesn't, there's no higher than that.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm going to transition into the NBA with saying from that to this. Who do you think right now, like if you got to pick right now and say, I think these two teams will be in the finals, who do you think and why?
He want to hear you say his team. He's come with the dumbass questions so you can say the Boston Celtics.
They loaded.
The Boston Celtics.
They loaded, though.
So I will say Boston probably out of the East.
Hello.
But I hope the Knicks or Philly can, do something, challenge them, make it more interesting than it was last year, right?
But do you think they could get them, though? You think those two teams could get the Celtics, or you think
I mean, honestly, obviously the first thing I guess both teams really is staying healthy, right? Mm-hmm. You got Julius Randle's kind of been injured the last couple of years, and you got PG and Joel, who always, seem to, miss quite a big chunk of the season, man. So if those guys can get healthy, Joel got to get that weight down, man.
Yep.
I've been there, man. It's too much. It's too much on them joints,
Yeah. And he pigeon-toed, so that's way too much weight. That's too much weight for the pigeon-toe, man.
Too much pressure on the inside of the
too much
knees.
pressure on the inside, man. Boy.
Man, I went to Vegas to the little warm-up game against Canada. And he came out and I was like, oh, man, he big. He big right now. Big right now.
And he wearing Skechers though, so
that's another thing.
He got Skechers, a deal Skechers.
But ain't no denying he's one of the most talented guys you in the league for sure.
Yeah.
He's got to stay healthy, get that weight down. He gets that weight down, man. He's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
So you saying the Celtics though still, and then on the
I think Celtics
on the West side though. Who you think on the West side?
No, the West is so wide open.
Yeah.
Honestly, so wide open. Honestly, I would love to see Phoenix do something, man. I would like to see KD get another one. I like KD.
I like to see all three of them, Book, Bill,
Bill,
and KD get something
Yeah.
going. I mean, I think like for them coming in, like you can't get no better on paper.
Yeah.
No, you
No.
can't.
You know what I mean? And for them to not be able to put it together yet, I don't know what the problem is over there, man. I mean, I watch it every day, so.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the other guys are going to be just as important, though.
Yeah.
They got to be important. The role players got to be stars in their role. What you think about OKC? Because I think OKC is on their way. I think they're going to be
Denver,
right
you
there.
You got to talk about Denver. They're going to be back. Joker's going to be. He's mad. He's hot. You know. So
Dallas.
you got to talk about Denver.
I think people might have Denver figured out.
But the thing
so?
is, I think
Yeah, I
this
think
though
so.
with Denver though, if you looked at the Joker in the Olympics, his body looked different than he looked in the regular season. And I think he's going to come in a whole lot better shape.
But I think once they realize you can't give him both things to do, like once you take away getting everybody else involved, then everybody's gone. If they want to let it ride on the Joker, other teams are letting it ride on the Joker.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Also, I think
He's better
Jamal-
as a playmaker.
Yeah,
he
for
is
sure.
better as a playmaker. But I also think Jamal Murray, him being hurt a little bit last year, kind of derailed their growth last season. I expect them to make some noise, but I'm telling you, I really believe in OKC. I really think that them young
they're
guys.
too young, man. I don't think
Yeah,
they're ready
but-
yet. I don't think it's their time yet.
But look, they did it last year. So what I'm trying to say is they did it last year, right? They tasted some success.
Huh?
They tasted success. They was the number one team.
They lost in the first round, didn't
They did, but I'm saying they tasted success. They tasted success to get there. Like, and everybody that's young, you don't just win
But that ain't
automatically.
the success that matters. The regular season success don't matter.
Yeah, but that gets you to the playoffs, right? So they had to really fight to get that number one
Yeah.
seed. You feel what I'm saying? So to see that you lose in the first round, you like, damn, we got to get our shit. We got to get our shit together. And so I think they're gonna come in because they got one of the most talented players in the league in Shea.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Chet
100%.
Chet is looking good.
Yeah.
Jalen Williams is looking good. I
You
mean,
think Minnesota was a fluke?
I do.
I don't know.
I don't think you could win with that type of defense with the big because he's always in the drop.
coverage. Yeah.
Always in the drop. Essentially, the big ends up in the drop, but to start in the drop and the guards being so skilled and can shoot the ball so good, I mean, they're always playing catch up in the possession.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I feel like Minnesota is always on their heels defensively and never pushing up and the aggressor defensively. Right. Sometimes it's a give and take. Sometimes you could be like, okay, we're going to play this way, but for the most part, defensively, you want to be aggressive, man. You want to dictate to the offense what they do, and not what you'd have them dictate to you.
Think about what D. Will and Mike would do if they know a big is in the paint on the middle pick and roll.
What you mean? Why you leave me out, nigga? Well, shut the fuck. This nigga gonna leave me out like I can't come off a pick and roll and hit a free throw line jumper.
Exactly.
Using the corner. Coming off an 11.
Hey, look, a pin down. Yeah, but you act like in transition I can't come off a pick and roll if I got the ball, got the rebound and push it. You know what I mean?
We used to be on the court together. You know what I mean? In Sacramento. So I know,
dangerous.
you know where he was running to.
How dangerous is that, though?
He right next to me, hand me the ball, and he go.
Yeah, you know, because I'm trying to find a spot to get a jumper off. That's
He
why.
ain't lying, D-Will.
I got about 20 minutes out there.
D-Will, who you got? You got the Celtics. That's what he wanted to hear. Who you got coming from the West?
Dallas, D. Will? Nothing from Dallas?
Dallas ain't
I just think Dallas is still they're not. I don't think defensively they're good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what Boston did to them. I don't think it's going to get. I don't think it's. I can't see it getting much better than that with what they have now. Like I think it'll be the same kind of.
Yeah.
The same situation.
D. Will, do you think that their style of play, right, with Luka being the system, is the wrong style of play? As great as Luka is, they might have to switch that up because when LeBron is the system, but he also plays on the other end, and he's a willing passer where he might be looking to pass first, where Luka is looking to get money, and if he can't get money, then he's forced to pass.
So what I'll say is I think that they rely on making bad shots, like very heavily, the whole team, you know. And I won't say bad shots, I'll say tough shots.
Right.
Because they're really not bad shots for those guys. Like you look at Kyrie, some of his shots, you're like, dang, that's a bad shot. But he's like a mini Kobe where he don't see the hands, they don't bother him. So it's not a bad shot. But like you said, I think it's kind of like, it's similar to like a James Harden where he just got the ball all the time. It's hard for other guys to get into a rhythm. It's hard for them to feel like they're important and be part of the team when he's got the ball so much. And so I think that's the thing that kind of hurts them.
All right. Hey, D. Will, appreciate you getting on, man. I know it's short notice. I've been hitting you for a couple of weeks. So much respect, bro, for getting on here.
Yeah, man, for sure. Thank you, bro.
Much love. Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Y'all be easy.
All right, peace.
Straight game.